Hi guys, today we are going to look at the best laptops for programming. If you're looking to get a laptop for programming and don't know where to start, we can help you with that. But first, let's go through what we're looking for in a coding laptop. Preferably, you'd want a good amount of RAM and a competent CPU that will allow you to compile and test your code faster. Plenty of screen space is never bad, and a comfortable keyboard is almost a must, as you'll likely be typing for extended periods. If you want to work on multiple displays, you'd want a good port selection so you don't need to go through the hassle of getting a dongle or dock. For working on the go, build, portability, and battery life will also be major factors. This video has a few picks to get you started, and hopefully, you can narrow your search and get the best laptop for your needs. Apple's MacBook Pro. If ever there was a staple of software development in recent years, it's this. You see MacBook Pros everywhere at developer events, even those presented by Google and Microsoft. Why is that? Because it's the perfect tool for the job. And with the advent of the M1 and M2 series of processors, Apple has made it even harder to recommend a competitor. Perhaps the only real negatives to basing your programming on a 16-inch MacBook Pro are the price and lack of upgradability. What you buy from Apple is pretty much what you're living with, but conversely, you have options to spec this up to the powerhouse of your dreams. If you have the budget, you can get up to 8 TB of SSD storage and 32 GB or 64 GB of unified memory, depending on whether you go for the M1 Pro or the M1 Max. Both offer a 10-core CPU, but the M1 Max has double the GPU cores and memory bandwidth. The MacBook Pro comes in two sizes, but for programming we recommend the 16-inch model over the 14-inch model purely for that additional screen real estate. The laptop doesn't have that much larger of a footprint than the 14-inch model for what you gain in usability. It has a Liquid Retina XDR panel in both instances, and both have the same superb ProMotion variable refresh rate up to 120 Hz. And that additional little bit of size in pound and weight nets you up to 4 hours of extra battery life. Apple's move to ARM didn't sacrifice its commitment to Thunderbolt connectivity either. The MacBook Pro 16-inch comes with 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, joined by HDMI, a full-sized SD card slot, and even a headphone jack. There's also the small matter of macOS to consider, and it's perhaps even more important than the hardware for software development. macOS has traditionally been welcoming to software development, sitting in a happy middle ground between Linux and Windows. Of course, if you want to develop for the Mac or for iOS devices, you need a Mac, which sucks. But it's also the only platform that allows you to build for macOS, Linux, and Windows simultaneously, as well as Android on the mobile front. If you want to target all platforms, you'll want a MacBook Pro 16-inch. If you like the idea of the MacBook Pro being the best laptop for programming, but you'd really rather stick with Windows, the Dell XPS 15 is the perfect alternative. The XPS 15 isn't the largest XPS laptop Dell makes, but it's still a one to get. All you really get with the larger 17-inch model is a bigger screen and a higher price. By virtue of its super slim bezels, the XPS 15 is not nearly as large as the 15-inch laptops you may be used to from years past. The chassis is about the size of most 14-inch laptops, so you get a larger screen and a smaller footprint, as well as weighing at about 4.31 pounds. Dell has plenty of options when it comes to specs, but unlike many smaller laptops, you have the freedom to upgrade them yourself. If your initial budget only stretches to 16 GB of RAM, that's fine. When the time is right, you can upgrade that to 32 GB yourself. Programmers will usually be looking for a lot of RAM, and on the XPS 15 you don't have to cough up for it all up front. The same goes for the storage, with Dell using standard PCIe SSDs that you can upgrade yourself whenever you need to. The rest of the hardware is no slouch either. Dell updated the XPS 15 to use Intel's latest 12th gen processors, starting at the Core i5 and going all the way up to the Core i9 12900HK with 14 cores. For GPU power, there are two options from NVIDIA on top of the Intel integrated graphics, with either the RTX 3050 or RTX 3050 Ti available. For what's basically an ultrabook, this is seriously impressive, and you're in good hands whether you're looking for GPU acceleration or doing a little gaming when you're done working. Rounding out the finery, Dell not only supports Windows Hello biometric security, but the latest connectivity with Thunderbolt 4, as well as USB-C 3.2, both with power delivery. Where the Dell stands apart from Apple's M1-powered, Thunderbolt-supporting MacBooks is the ability to hook up an external GPU. The GPU in the XPS 15 is pretty good, but if you need serious horsepower when at your desk, an eGPU over Thunderbolt 4 will allow you to add something quite mad like an RTX 3080 Ti if you wish. Sometimes you just want as much horsepower as you can possibly get inside a laptop. That's as true for programming as it is for gaming. When it comes to balancing raw performance with being portable and just good to use, the Razer Blade 14 ticks all the boxes. The RTX 3080 Ti would normally only be found in much larger gaming laptops, but through wizardry and a little clever design, Razer managed to cram one inside a 14-inch Razer Blade. The Blade 14 is also the first Razer laptop to use an AMD Ryzen processor, and as you might expect, it goes to the top of the tree. Specifically, you get the 8-core, 16-thread Ryzen 9 6900HX, paired with 16GB of RAM and a 1TB SSD. As far as 14-inch laptops go, it cannot be beaten, and even the display is impressive, with both a 1440p resolution and a 165Hz refresh rate, as well as a 1080 144Hz panel available. NVIDIA also offers its professional studio drivers in place of the gaming-focused GeForce drivers, which might be more useful to you. And of course, if you go ahead and put Linux on one of these, you'll be able to take advantage of GPU pass-through to any Windows VMs you set up. It isn't cheap, but if you're in the market for something with truly mind-blowing power in a small form factor, this is the one. Programming can be a resource-intensive task, and professionals will certainly want the absolute most they can get their hands on. But that same sentiment should apply whatever the budget, and especially if you're just starting out, you don't want to be throwing thousands at a laptop. That's probably overkill for your needs. That's why you should also check out the HP Pavilion Aero 13, which we didn't talk about in this video, but which we vouch for. Thanks for watching the video. See you next time.